My name is Gabija Bubnyte. I am a RASL student combining graphic design at Willem de Kooning Academy together with international relations and politics at Erasmus University College, and I just finished the RASL minor. So because I do the RASL program, my graduation is also spread in between those two universities. So for Erasmus University College, I'm writing a capstone analyzing anti-LGBT discourse on Lithuanian Facebook groups. And then for the academy, I'm kind of taking in those insights to design workshops in which we could discuss and engage with the question of mitigation of homophobia in Lithuania.
It's right now actually very relevant to talk about this. When I started the research, it was also relevant, but maybe not as much as it has become right now, where because we had recent elections, which actually the political parties that now are in majority are quite pro-LGBT rights, which has created a big also like counter narrative from these alt-right groups, especially on Facebook, who are protesting. And these voices that are homophobic and anti-LGBT are quite loud right now. And there's not really a counter. I mean, there is a counter voice because obviously the majority is not this group, but it lacks maybe this counter kind of resistance, because it really feels like that's all you hear right now. It's these homophobic voices.
I have here printed the text that I'm writing, which is a dialogue between me and different characters who introduce me to the Lithuanian context and the homophobia there. So here it is. And also I have made these cards, which would be part of the workshop to engage with the topic of rethinking narratives and producing counter narratives. So I have these cards with different words on them. So identity, for instance, nation, the other. I can see that they're the wrong way around, so maybe we can switch the video or something so you can read them. And so these would be the conversation starter for the workshop, where like based on these words we can rethink the narrative and think of other ways of seeing these terms. When I came up with the idea of a workshop, I thought that I would be able to do it during this course of these like months, and then when I would present to the jury and graduate, I would have the documentation of the workshops as my product and make a booklet out of it. So then I contacted all these places that I wanted to do the workshop in Lithuania, and one place that I contacted was actually really keen on doing the workshop, which were really good news, but they could only do it in the summer. My research questions was how the anti-LGBT narrative is constructed on Lithuanian Facebook groups and how that narrative influences political discourse on LGBTIQ+ issues in Lithuania. And so for that, I had the critical discourse analysis, where I analyzed online homophobic discourse. And for that, I had the theoretical framework that I constructed out of the three concepts: nationalist homophobia, visibility, propaganda, and westernization. And then I compared that discourse to parliamentary discourse, which then gave me the concept of populism and how these two kind of work together. And then the third part of critical discourse analysis is mitigating that discourse. And so for me, that became my graduation project kind of research question. So how can we resist and mitigate homophobic discourse? And that became the counter narratives workshop. And and so how it relates to the framework is through these conversations. So I made these 3 booklets that talk about these issues. And so each booklet is influenced by the research that I have done. And so the things that I discuss in the conversations relate to these three concepts. Those are the booklets, which have the cards with them associated, and then have, the cards that are part of the workshop, and then the whole text, which the participants have to read together. Still, a lot of academic research is quite rigid in the way the methods that are used, or these questions of objectivity and and I think those are something to be questioned, and I think kind of bending these rules and trying to see how else can you involve people and what kind of results do you have, and that's something very interesting to me. So I really hope to continue.